Welcome to Matt Bajerski YouTube channel. Welcome to the Academy. Welcome to the noise outside. Let's hope it's not too loud. This is why I haven't been able to make videos, guys. This is why it's been a real challenge for me. And I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? If my voice will allow me to. It's always strange when we're about to talk about a serious and a subject that needs to be talked about, which is taboo. Probably gone already now, aren't you? Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. I can feel my throat squeezing up. It's not because of anything that I've eaten. It's not because of anything in the environment. It's because of the topic, the spiritual topic. And a lot of people can't talk about this subject. They're not allowed to. They're not allowed to. Did you know that there was a song that came out called Seasons in the Sun? I sent it to Richie the other day and said, hey Richie, this song was my mum's favourite song. And I said, and it's funny because the song was basically, well, the original version was about a guy who lost his girlfriend who ran off and left him, something like that. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was retaken by somebody else, and it was rewritten from a guy who was losing his best friend to cancer. And my mum used to stand looking outside of the window. I used to watch her, and she used to listen to the words and cry. And Seasons in the Sun was about, a guy dying of cancer, I believe. I'm sure you'll tell me if I'm wrong, but anyway, I always remember how I knew about it was because I think my mum says this song is about somebody who was dying. And she knew she was dying. Even though she thought she was pregnant, I think she knew. I think she knew deep down. I think we all do at a certain point. And you know, like elephants, I don't know if you know this, but elephants make their way to a place of rest when their bodies is giving up. Wow, I can't believe this. I've been talking all day fine. I had a little bit of a grog this morning. I'm not coming down with anything at all. Maybe it's the tea. Maybe it's the detox tea that I'm drinking and the parasite tea. Maybe now it's clearing through my throat. Okay, so yeah. You know what the topic of conversation is, right? Preparing yourself to go home. Oh, we don't talk about that. Well, why don't we talk about it? Because we don't want to die. Well, you don't die. Yes, you do. No, you don't. So, you know, if you've never ever watched any of my videos before and you're now watching this and you are at a point in your life where you're wondering what's going to happen to you, what's going to happen to the people around you, and so on. My experience over these years of working alongside and walking alongside beautiful souls who were ready to end their journey here and move back home. First of all, you've got to remember this isn't home. In fact, right now, this is more, you know, people talk about hell and earth, hell and heaven, you know, and this feels more like hell on this planet than any hell that I could ever imagine. What's going on right now is horrific, is unbelievable. It's so dark, it's unreal. So part of me actually inside thinks I'll be looking forward to going home from this madhouse, from this clown factory that we live in, to this insanity. So that would be one thing that I'd be sort of looking forward to. Secondly, I'm looking forward to going home. I'm looking forward to resting in that energy that I am, that you are, that you will always be. So first of all, you've got to understand that this body, it deteriorates in whichever way it deteriorates. So, life here isn't all about how long your body lasts, because the body deteriorates. Doesn't matter how much healthy food you eat, how much you've kept away from toxins, how much you've meditated, the body decomposes every breath you take. That's what happens. We get the skin gets older, just like fruit. It's ripe and then it goes, and then it's unripe and then it falls from the tree. So what did I do? What did I see? And how did I help certain people along this journey to the point of what's called acceptance of this life, saying thank you very much, did my best, and now I'm going home. I can honestly say that I feel confident enough to be able to talk about this, because I saw the preparation, I saw the anxiety, the fears, the happiness, the joys. I saw all walks of life, all humanity that stepped into that beautiful doorway of home. Let's not talk about light. Let's just talk about, because then there's arguments there. And this isn't about arguing. This is about you and your journey, and your beautiful journey that you've come to the point where now it's time to move on. Now, the first thing you've got to battle with is the fact that everybody has been programmed to believe that I want to live forever. Everybody believes that when it's their time, it wasn't long enough and I needed more time and I should have, could have, would have. No, the point of when your moment to go, whether a plane crashes on top of you or a piano, or whether you have a car accident, or whether you have a disease in your body and it's your moment, it's your moment. That's it. So whether disease is cleared from your body or whether it stays, it's just a process. And you might think that's calculated and cruel, but it isn't. We've got to go one way or another. I mean, I guess all of us would like to go in our sleep. That would be my perfect moment, going in my sleep, or fighting for the cause, or freedom. And either that or this. So you can see how difficult it is, because I have to be careful what I say, because somebody is now ready to jump down my throat because I'm talking about a subject that maybe shouldn't be talked about. And the song called Seasons in the Sun, did you know it was banned from all hospital radios? Yeah, banned. Why? Well, work it out. So at this point, the first thing that you'll be experiencing, I guess, or one of those experiences throughout this journey up until you walk through the door of home, is what's going to happen to your children. I've often said to everybody, just ask yourself what happens if you're not here tomorrow. Do you think your children would stop? Do you think everything would stop? It doesn't. It continues. And my mum passed at 45 years old. I was 12. I wanted everything to stop as a child. And then I realized that nothing's stopping. People are still smiling. People are still laughing. People are still getting on with life. That was a shell shock for me. I couldn't understand. Everybody in the room was laughing and joking. And I was like, does nobody know that my mum's just gone? She ain't coming back. And you realize that you have to move on, and your children will move on, and they'll grow in a spiritual sense, because once you've walked through that door, and I'm going to come back to this because there is a point where I would like to be able to help you through my clients and what I saw of helping them move forward. Maybe I should talk about that right now. So normally what happens is at the point of our body saying, okay, that's the body done, and now we're ready to move back home, the spirit then moves free from the body. Sometimes it can move free prior to you passing away. But just let's say that we're in a room and you are there with your family, or not, and you're about to move into the light. What normally happens is you see spirit. So your family in the spirit world are normally already waiting to help you to come through. There isn't a force, there isn't a push, there isn't a way where they grab you and pull you or anything like that. It's a gentle kind of energy where you feel comfortable. And many of my clients would point and say something, and then I'd realise family's here, ready to help them forward. And they maybe talk, and you might think, oh, they're hallucinating. No, they're not. They're seeing spirit. And it's normally their family, loved ones. So the spirit world is always there. One of the things that we can do, if you are preparing, is to cleanse the room. Now, I use sage, and the reason why I use sage is because it clears negative energy and allows pure love energy in. So it can clear the negative, dark, heavy energies. And once that's all cleansed and all the sage is gone, then it allows a high vibration, so spirit can come forward, and it's a lot more stronger, a lot more palatable. You can feel it more. So cleansing the room is a good thing. Crystals are a wonderful thing to use in a room as well, because they amplify the room to a very high frequency. Again, beautiful for the transition. One of the crystals I like to use, I don't often talk about this, but one of the crystals I like to use on that particular point, there's quite a few, but one of them is, I would probably go with the Stone of Forgiveness. And the reason why is because at that point we need to let go of everything and forgive everything. So I would always like to place a really nice crystal around the neck of somebody ready to move on. If I'm moving on, I want a crystal around my neck so I can hold it. And if I was to choose for myself or for you, there are 3 crystals I would go for, but let's just stick with the one. That would be Cavansite from Pune, India. That has got a great energy, and it opens the chakras from the throat upwards, and it helps cleanse and clear, forgive, let go, move on. It's a great energy. It's a really good crystal of forgiveness, in my humble opinion, and it's working as a crystal healer. So Cavansite, brilliant to wear on the moment of passing forward. The other crystal I also like as well is Moldavite. And I would probably go for Tektite too in the room to just release any of the fear and worry, negative energy. Moldavite heightens your energy as well, so you can feel spirit in the room more, and you feel more comfortable, and you can see more. And then that's the point where a healer would come over and lay his hands upon your forehead, on your heart. 2 places that I would normally work if somebody's moving into the light is one on the heart, one on the forehead. That is to stimulate the energy of this what's called the third eye, which opens them, and also the heart, which opens the heart. So these 2 places, if you are wanting to give healing to somebody that you love, if you're watching this and you're wanting to help somebody that you love move into the light, they're the places. And the other thing I often used to find really disturbing and challenging is when people used to tell their loved ones that it's okay, you can go, don't worry about us. I don't like that. We go when we go, so hold on to your loved ones as long as you can. It's not up to you whether you think they should go or shouldn't go. That's their journey, that's their process. Okay, so they know. You don't need to tell them things like that. Okay, it's not necessary. I did never like that. Please stop. I want, if I'm the son and my mum's going, I want to hold her as long as I can until she's gone. Like, okay, you can go now. Just stop. That's a spiritual fluffy thing. Just leave that out of the room, please. And then we spent, and then the moment of that divine transition happens in its moment. Can't be forced, can't be pulled back, can't be stopped. It is what it is. It's that moment. So so that crystal is great. If you're laying hands on somebody that you love, I would recommend definitely the heart and the third eye. It's amazing. Some great work in the moment of moving, because they become more accepting, they become more open, and it's amazing because it brings in a great deep inner peace. Once that inner peace is there, then you're happy. You've cracked it. And the reason why we talk about this inner peace And if you're ready to go in the next day or 2 days or whatever, whenever, this understanding of fear can hold us in a place where the transition is a little bit more challenging. And the reason why I talk about forgiveness is because there might be certain things that you wish you shoulda, coulda, woulda done before you went. Those are the things that need to disappear. Certain things that you wish you didn't do, that needs to be cleared and got rid of. You don't need to hang on, or you shouldn't hang on to anything. All you have to say is, look, it was an experience. Yeah, I made some mistakes. I'm really sorry for them mistakes. And let them go. Let them go. And thus, there is this transition where your family come and you then move through that beautiful physical into the spiritual, and it's done. Now, there are times that when people refuse and they fight so hard that this is their brain, not their spirit, and their brain is fighting, is angry, and it struggles to resolve anything, and it won't resolve anything, wouldn't anyway. So it's struggling with everything, and it's upset and worried, and a lot of that is because of fear of the unknown. What's going to happen? Am I going to hell? All of this nonsense that religion throws at us. So here's the thing: at the transitional moment of moving into the light, I used to see this incredible energy kind of explode in the room. This is what I used to feel, and I used to get very hot. And that energy is, and this is the only way I can describe it, because I describe it as one of my first clients who were moving into the light described it as she was moving into the light. And it was basically like somebody shooting loads of photos at you. And some the science will say it's the brain, processing and blah, blah, blah. But you see these photos of your life from a child, teenager, adult, to the point that where you are. And all of them images will be a story. And those stories will be, did I do my best? Or did I make mistakes? And you'll judge yourself on all of those stories. And at that point, you've got to understand that that was experience, and that experience was something that you asked for. So if you did something that you wish you hadn't done, it's okay. It was an experience. Don't beat yourself up over it. It was, oh, I did it. I did my best, made a mistake. Did I do better? And at the end of your life, you see, look what I've been through. I was a bit of a scallywag there. Look at what I did. And I should have done that. And I wasn't maybe as good a mother as I should have been. But now I was a lot better to my grandchildren. And you know what? I evolved. That's all experience. Your mind is trying to make out what you did right and wrong, but your soul knows. So your soul's intention knows that there comes a point where you're about to move into the light that you will judge yourself. And that sounds really harsh, but it isn't actually judging. It's just feeling the experience of everything what you've been through. Now, here's where I found it was vital. If you hold on to all of those things and then start to feel anger, bitterness, guilt, jealousy, fear, then the transition to go through that door into the home world is slightly more challenging. And sometimes we can, not often, but we can be pulled into what's called the in-between, so we don't fully go through. And the only way I can explain it, because there is no real words for it when you feel it and see it within your mind's eye as it's happening when somebody's moving into the light or not, or it's not the light. It's not actually called the light. We just use that phrase. But moving into the transition back home. So it's like, and this is how I use the phrase, it's like, when you might have done something wrong when you were a kid, and that maybe somebody told somebody, and when you get home, you're going to have to explain yourself. Because somebody said, if you don't tell them, I'm going to come and tell them. So now you're walking home and you're feeling anxious and worried and fearful. What's going to happen when you walk through the door? When you say what you say? How are they going to treat you, or how they're going to be? Well, that is very similar how we feel when we're about to move forward into this transition. And that is a negative state to be in, because Imagine that you decide that it's all too overwhelming and you don't want to walk through that door. And there is something in this. You've got to understand why this happened. It happened because of religion. Religion talks about purgatory. It talks about the world in between, so you're not home. And in that world in between, you are actually in, let's say, no land, no space, no time. And you the energy around you and within you, wherever you are, say is in a home, and you're trapped in between two worlds. I call it trapped in between two worlds because you're neither here or you're neither at home. And that energy frequency is normally dependent on how you were in this world. So let's say you were angry, then that energetic field will have the same frequency of anger because your spirit is generating this frequency of anger. It's a memory that is trapped inside you, which you hold on to. So it's very complex and it's not that easy to understand, but the simple way is that if a healer comes, they will help you clear all that fear away and that worry. And once that's gone, the transition is simple and very, very easy. So at the point of you going home, your children then will start to experience their life through suffering, grief, loneliness, sadness of not holding you. Well, when you are home, you are able to help them a whole lot more than what you could do in this world. So when you are at home, like my mum behind me, she comes at vital times. And I started to realize the only time I really felt my mum and understood my mum was when I cleared the grief. So if you're watching this now and you're about to say goodbye to somebody that you love, the worst possible thing you can do is be in grief. And there's a reason why we need to find joy and love and remember all the good times instead of fearing what are all the times that we won't be able to see them and be with them and I wish they were here and I miss them and all that. All of that is a low vibration and we all go through it. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional, so it depends how long you suffer for this. But if you just say to yourself that if you want to know how your mum, dad, brother, child, dog, animal, whoever's going into that, how they feel when they've gone into the light, you're going to say, how are they feeling? Are they okay? Did they get there okay? Are they happy? I always used to say the only way you can really tell if there's somebody that you love is in the spirit world, if they're happy, is if you go into the mirror and look at yourself and ask yourself, how do you feel? And if you say, I feel really happy, then your family in the spirit world are happy because your energetic field and frequency, if it's low, then it will give off the same frequency to the spirit world who come forward and near. But the problem is that energetic frequency is so heavy that it's hard for your mum or somebody that you love to come forward and come into that frequency. So they're going to feel down because they want to come close to you. And normally when they come close is when you're happy, filled with joy or filled with great memory and remember the good times and not anything negative. Anything negative will block you from connecting to your family and spirit world. That's my understanding. Sorry about the noise, guys. Nothing I can do about that. So there is another crystal which is very beautiful and I saw the blue apatite and I thought I'm going to make a video on moving from this world into the next, the transition. And then I went down to the office and I started looking at the thousands of crystals that we had and I thought, blue apatite. I always remember holding blue apatite and giving blue apatite. And it's funny because it's blue and the same of cavernsite, which is blue. And it's a kind of freedom energy. It's flying free, break free from this spacesuit and fly and be everywhere and anywhere. And one story I want to leave you on, because I could go on all day about this. We could do an actual, a full day workshop on this. But let me say that it's very noisy for me now, so it's very difficult for me to attune and I lose my attunement straight away. So what I was going to say is gone, I'm afraid, because of the noise. But hopefully what I've given you today is a little bit of encouragement to know that it's all as it should be. Personally, I'm looking forward to leaving and going home. And whether I come back or not, I don't know. But I think I'd like a rest, and I'd like to do some work there to help from there to here, which we all do when we go home. Blue Appetite, yeah, I've got it here. So I was going to just give it away to people who can't afford, but maybe what I'll say is, how about me giving these away to people who are about to move into the light, get them sent off to you. So let's say this: if you are genuinely at this moment ready to move into the light in the next so and so days, if you are a member of somebody's family that somebody's going to leave this world shortly, then let us know with your name and address, and I will promise to get these shipped out to you by DHL. Okay, I was going to just send them as normal post, but let's just say if you are with somebody or you are ready to move into the light, then I'm going to work on these for another few hours and put more love into them, and get these up the high frequency at a level of this breaking free, this freedom, flying free, and helping you with a transition. Also within these crystals are filled with love, healing, and most of all, letting go and the forgiveness. So I'm going to work on these when I finish this video. So it's info@markbajerski.com, info@markbajerski.com. Hi Mark, saw your video about transition. My mum's moving into the light shortly. Would it be possible if you could send me a crystal? Or hi Mark, I'm just about to move into the light in the next few weeks. Thank you for the information. Could you send me a crystal? Okay, and we'll do that until they've all gone. I don't know how many is there. There might be 50. All I can say and leave you on is this note: the amount of people that I've sat with when they've moved into the light was always very, very beautiful. Happiness is the key. Forgiveness is the key. Letting go of all your pain and suffering, of the guilt and what you should and could have, would have done and didn't. Letting go of all of that and saying, you know what, I did my best. And that's the bottom line. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on about this subject. I really could. But there's a lot of noise behind, and this is why it's challenging. I can't make videos anymore per day because it's just too noisy. And just a second ago, I lost all my flow, and that kind of puts me off a little bit. But anyway, I just want to leave you on this note. I hope I haven't upset anybody. This isn't here. People might get so upset because this is such a taboo subject and you should be speaking about it with a miserable face and you should be more serious. No, to me, moving back home is a joy and should be treated as a joy. And you know what? They are happier there by a times a trillion. Their energy, their love, their everything is you have no clue. So we pretend that this is the joyful world. This is the world that we should be. This is the safe world. No, like I said at the beginning, this is more like hell to me. This is hell on earth now. So I have a friend who's ready to move anytime now. I'm always got friends moving into the light, but I'm always thinking, to myself, I'm looking forward to it. And I really mean that. And you might think you're an idiot, you shouldn't speak like that. But, I know what I don't want in this world, and I don't want to be trapped and enslaved and told what I have to stick into my arm. I'm not. If that's the case, then I'm no longer free. And I don't want to live in this world like that. I don't want to be a prisoner and a slave to this system, this dark, evil system that's taken over the world. So there you go. That's my little say. I wish you well. Just want to finish off on this note, dear friends. If anybody has a message that you want to send me to info@markbajerski.com, please guys, it's vital that you don't write an essay. It's vital. If you want me to answer your questions, they need to be short. They need to be bullet points, because my staff can no longer read these because they're too long. They're literally essays. So I'm just going to point this out to you. If your message is more than 2 lines or 3 lines, we won't be looking at it, because we have no time in a day to be able to go through all of these hundreds of messages. And I'm literally, you are writing your life story and we cannot answer them. They're too long. We would only be able to do 5 or 6 a day, and we have work to do. So please bear that in mind. On a final note, please remember, if you're very much into the understanding of negative energy in the world, the world grid, let's say the microwave that is being blasted all around us. I made a few videos prior with this crystal, which is called Silicon Valley. Surprise, surprise, eh? But Silicon Valley, in my humble opinion, is a brilliant crystal to help from the negative energy of that poison radiation. And if you buy one of these on Bajerski.com, whether it's like this or whether, oh no, that's right, I think it's what, if you buy a Silicon Valley that is a pendant, you will receive one of these, which is a handheld Silicon Valley. The girls have just told me to tell you, so just to remind you. So every Silicon Valley pendant, you will receive one of these that you can either gift to somebody or hold in your hand. I think that's it. I must go now. I wish you a lovely day. I'm going to make a video on my most beautiful Tektite collection that will be going online tomorrow or this afternoon. And I'll do that when all the noise has stopped, which will be about 5 o'clock today. I wish you well. Yeah, you're in my heart and prayers, guys. I hope this video serves you well and you learn a little bit from it and ease your mind, and you're in my heart and prayers. Love you all.